Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Batra, page 137a, top of the page, with the words Tanaihi. The Gemara answers, the halacha in this case is a dispute between Tanaim. The Tanya, as it is taught in a Braita, Hasheni motzi miyad halakoichois Divrei Rabbi Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer Ein l'sheni ela ma shishayach rishon. The halacha in this case, it's a dispute between Tanaim, as is taught in Braita, with regard to one who said, my property is given to you, and after you to so-and-so, and the first recipient entered the property and sold it and consumed the profits. The second recipient repossesses the property from the purchasers, as the property belongs to him after the death of the first recipient. This is the statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, the second recipient receives only that which the first beneficiary left, since his sale is valid. It's valid like a salad. That is, if the salad is valid. Ureminu, uremini. Nechsi l'chaver echel ploini. Yored rishon echel divrei Rabbi. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer. En rishon el achilas perois pilvad. And the Gemara raises a contradiction from another Braita, Tosefta 8:4. If one says, my property is given to you, and after you to so-and-so, the first one may enter the property and sell it and consume the profits. This is the statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says the first one has only the right of consumption of the produce. Kashya Arabi ad Arabi. U'derabban Shimon ben Gamliel ad Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. This statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is difficult, as it is contradicted by the other statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. And this statement of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel is difficult, as it is contradicted by the other statement of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. Their opinions in the later Braita seem to be opposite of those in the former Braita. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, Lokashia, Hadiyevid. The Gemara answers the apparent contradiction between one statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi and the other statement of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is not difficult. This ruling that the first one cannot sell it is referring to the property itself, and that ruling that he can sell it is referring to the produce. The apparent contradiction between one statement of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel and the other statement of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel is not difficult either. This statement that the first has only the right to consume the produce is referring to his rights ab initio, whereas that statement that if he sold the property, the second one gets nothing, is referring to the halacha after the fact. Amar Abaye, Ezo she'arum, Zu hamasi etzalim kol minechosim, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. Abaye says, who is a cunning, wicked person? This is one who provides advice to sell property in accordance with the ruling of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. Whoa, wait a minute. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel is a Tana. Abaye is an Amora. Does he have authority to say that about a Tana? Does it go against the etiquette? I don't know. It's a big question. Who is a cunning, wicked person? This is the one who provides advice to sell property in accordance with the opinion of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. Although Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel holds that the sale is valid, he does not permit one to do so ab initio, as that would deprive the second designated recipient of the property. Therefore, one who advises the first recipient to do so is considered a cunning, wicked person. Oh, maybe he's not dissing Rav Shimon Gamliel, maybe he's just saying that he's dissing the person who would advise it, because Rav Shimon really wouldn't advise it ab initio. Amar Rabbi Yochanan halach Rav Shimon ben Gamliel amoyed shim nasim b'tal neshchiv michal l'aseh klum. Rabbi Yochanan says the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, but Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel concedes that if the first recipient gave the property to another as the gift of a person on his deathbed, in which case no formal act of acquisition is required, he has done nothing. The second recipient can repossess the property from the one to whom it was given. My time, what is the reason? Amar Abaye matnas shemira lo kana ela l'achar misa ukevar dekadamo acharecha. Abaye says the recipient of the gift of a person on his deathbed acquires it only after the person's death, and in this case the acquisition of the recipient resulting from the statement of after you, meaning the second designated recipient has already preceded the acquisition of the first one. Umi Amar Abaye Hachi. The Gemara asks, but did Abaye actually say this? But did Abaye actually say this? That the gift of a person on his deathbed takes effect only after his death? But wasn't it stated in an Amoraic dispute concerning the matter? From when does the recipient of the gift of the person of his deathbed acquire it? Abaye says, with the completion of death, meaning at the moment he dies. Rava says, after the completion of death. Gemara answers, Abaye retracted the latter statement. The Gemara asks, from where is it known that he retracted that statement? Perhaps he retracted this, meaning that the statement that the recipient acquires it only after the person's death, and his conclusion is that he acquires it at the moment of his death. Lo solkadaitach ditnan zegitech im mati zegitech becholi zegitech la'achal misa lo amach klum. The Gemara answers the possibility. That possibility should not enter your mind, as we learned in the Mishnah in Gittin 72b. If a man on his deathbed says to his wife, "This is your bill of divorce if I die," or "This is your bill of divorce if I die from this illness," or "This is your bill of divorce after I die," he has said nothing. The divorce does not take effect after his death. Evidently, when one gives instructions on his deathbed, his intention is for them to be effective after he dies. Amar Rav Zeiro, Amar Rav Yochanan, halach Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, afilu hayu b'hen avodim v'yotzir necheirus. Rav Zeiro says that Rav Yochanan says the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rav Shimon ben Gamliel that if the first recipient sells the property, the sale is valid, and this is the halacha even if there were Canaanite slaves included in the property and the first recipient emancipated them. Shita mahu l'dema amar le me'avad asura lo yavina lach kamash melon. The Gemara asks, isn't that obvious? The Gemara answers, lest you say that the giver would have said to him, I did not give you my Canaanite slaves to transgress the prohibition, as it is prohibited to emancipate Canaanite slaves. Rabbi Yochanan teaches us that he has the legal right to do so. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. We're holding on time here. Okay, pretty good. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, halach Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, afilu asun k'techich enumes pshita mahu dethem l'shenoi l'shav shavinu asur ano lo yihivla kamash melon. Rabbi Yosef says that Rabbi Yochanan says the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, even if he made the gift into shrouds for a corpse. The Gemara asks, isn't that obvious? The Gemara answers, lest you say that the giver would have said to him, I did not give you my possessions to render them into items from which deriving benefit is prohibited, but rather so that you may use and enjoy them. And Rabbi Yochanan teaches us that he may do so. Darash Rabbi Nachman bar Chizda, Esroi ze nasun lecha b'matana v'achrecha leploini Not l'rishon, that's a boy. One of Machlokes Rabbi Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rav Nachman bar Chizda taught, if one said to another, this esrog is given to you as a gift, and after you die, to so-and-so, and the first recipient then took it and fulfills obligation of taking the 4 species on the day of Sukkot with it, when one is obligated to take a species that belonged to him, in this case, we have arrived at the dispute between Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi and Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel as to the nature of the ownership of the first recipient. According to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi's opinion that he cannot sell the esrog, it is not considered entirely his, and he does not fulfill his obligation by taking it. According to the opinion of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, who holds that he can sell it, he fulfills his obligation. Maskif Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Ad kan lo pligi Rabbi v'Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel hasam ela demad Omar kinyan peiros ki kinyan aguf dami Omar sofer kinyan peiros lav ki kinyan aguf dami ela hocha Rabbi Nachman ela hocha im mipak lo nafik be lemai havin hele. Just to continue the idea, going on to the next daf, if he does not fulfill the obligation with it, for what purpose did the owner give it to him? Okay, that finishes the whole thing. Alright, Reb Nachman bar Yitzchak objects to this statement, reasoning that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi and Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel disagree only there, in the case of after you with regard to the nature of the recipient's ownership. As one sage, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel holds that ownership of the right to use an item and the profits it engenders is considered like ownership of the item itself, and the other sage, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, holds that ownership of the rights to use an item and the profits it engenders is not considered like ownership of the item itself. But here, with regard to the esrog, if he does not fulfill his obligation with it, for what purpose did the owner give it to him?